I don't know what's going on.
What? It's Nickomania!
No, actually, this is Cheap Pops, but apparently Nickomania is running wild.
Yeah!
With the wrong title belt, but that's alright, this is Cheap Pops. I'm Dave.
I'm Nick.
And he's weird, but that's alright. It's been a little bit. We watched stuff over WrestleMania weekend. We had a lot of stuff going on, life happens. But if you've never seen the show before, we focus mainly on wrestling, but we also talk video games and movies, stuff like that. But there's a lot of wrestling to talk about. A lot. WrestleMania weekend was just ridiculous.
It was fucking jam-packed.
Yeah. Did you see any of the Hall of Fame?
I did not.
Okay, well, for one thing, I fast-forwarded through Michelle McCool. I'm sorry, not a Hall of Famer. Not a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. And the fact that The Undertaker is the one that inducted her, not any of the women that she wrestled or anything like that, is stupid. That tells me you got in because you banged and married The Undertaker. Come at me, I don't care. To me, that's what it says.
The only one I can accept being married is Stephanie.
Yeah, well, I mean,
yeah.
She's part of the family. I mean, that I understand. But, I mean, that would be the same as if... Well, I'm not going to say Becky Lynch, because she has, in my opinion, had a Hall of Fame career. But it's stupid to me that, I don't think the Bella Twins are Hall of Famers either.
No, they are not.
Lex Luger is a Hall of Famer now. Awesome. That's really cool. I wish it was Sting that inducted him instead of DDP. But DDP was alright. I know that Lex has found religion, but I hate it when they add that stuff into their speech all the time. That drives me nuts. But it was cool to see him stand up. I guess he had fallen earlier in the day because he was going to walk on the stage, but he couldn't because of the fall he had taken. But he stood there the whole time. That was really cool through his whole speech. So Michelle McCool, I fast-forwarded through. The legacy match was WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart against Stone Cold.
You want to talk about how much it is for a replica statue?
Yeah, $1,500. They are trying to squeeze every dollar out of everybody they can. It is crazy. I've seen reports that it's $40,000 for like VIP to the front row of SummerSlam. That's crazy. That's true? That's ridiculous.
That's one thing I want to talk about. Like, did you see the video of Randy Orton saying that how much where the fans paid for their...
Oh, yeah. We couldn't believe how much people were paying for tickets. Like, it's just... But I really liked a lot of the Hall of Fame. Like, the natural disasters, that's my era. That's really cool. And to know that tugboat Shockmaster, Typhoon was Shockmaster. That was cool. To have him there, to be able to, with Earthquake's kid and Earthquake's wife, to be able to induct the whole thing, that was really cool to me. That's my era. But Triple H talked for like over an hour. And Shawn Michaels was funny, inducting him and all that stuff. But Triple H pretty much thanked everybody that he knew, and then he told the funny stories about the first time he met the Clique and all that stuff. That was cool. Is he a Hall of Famer? Absolutely. And Kevin Nash on his podcast was saying that the whole thing should have been just Triple H. Oh. I don't agree with that at all. But it was cool to see Bret and Steve Austin as the match, because that WrestleMania 13 match is iconic. Will always be iconic. So
I think at that point, that's when the Attitude Era started.
Oh, absolutely.
That's when that's probably not the launching point, but that's...
The thing is that you can say that about a lot of things.
Yes.
Like, you could say when Bret Hart shoved Vince McMahon the first time and said, "This is bullshit."
Yes.
Or when Austin, said Austin 316. There's so many places you can point to. I could say Pillman 9mm when he pulled the gun out. There's a lot of... Or... the show that we're going to talk about that I picked for that Raw. You could say a lot of that was Attitude Era kind of coming in. It's weird. The Hall of Fame went too long, in my opinion, and you couldn't hear the crowd that was there if there were any fans there. It's part of it now, but to me, since the Bella Twins have been put in, since now Michelle McCool, and it's nothing against the female wrestlers. I like that there's female wrestlers that are Hall of Famers. There's plenty of female wrestlers that deserve to be Hall of Famers. Michelle McCool ain't it. No. I'm sorry, she's just not. But, what do you think about WWE buying AAA, the Mexican promotion?
This is very interesting.
It really is, because it's not like CMLL who owns their buildings down in Mexico, but Penta was part of AAA. Phoenix was part of AAA. You saw El Grande Americano at WrestleMania push Vikingo. There's a lot they could do, and the tape library.
Yes.
Think of how long AAA has been in business, and the amount of stars that went through AAA.
Right, and if they put that on a streaming network,
I don't know why they don't go back to having their own. They have so much content.
Yes.
And the functionality of Peacock sucks.
It does.
Even if you had, I know all the Raws are going to be on Netflix eventually. Awesome, that's cool. People already have Netflix to watch Raw live. Have all the Raw on Netflix. Totally makes sense to me. But the fact that you don't have one service other than Peacock, because Peacock sucks, bring back the WWE Network. You have all of that stuff already there. I love on Peacock you've got all the old Coliseum videos. I was going to show these later, but look. A lot of these are on there. Not this one because the actual In Your House full pay-per-view's on there. But there's so much content. And I can't keep up with it because I watch TNA Plus, I watch Ring of Honor. But there's times where I had something happen to me yesterday that really bummed me out. So what did I do? I put on my favorite pay-per-view, Survivor Series 1990, to cheer myself up. I could go right to Peacock and have that. I didn't have to go grabbing for a DVD or anything. That's awesome. WWE needs their own streaming service again. I really believe
yes.
that. And
yes,
now
they do.
You've got WCW, you've got the ECW. They own WCCW. I think they own Mid-South. They own all of this content, and now they own AAA.
They need their network back.
Yeah, because you're not doing DVDs or anything anymore, so you need to monetize that. What's the point of owning that content if you're not going to do anything with it? And if you're going to put it on YouTube where I got to watch a bunch of ads to get to it, no. No. Maybe with my YouTube Premium subscription I won't see ads, but still, I don't want to go on YouTube to see it. I'd rather have you have it on a dedicated network where I can search everything and it's all right there. But I think it's cool that WWE purchased AAA. They're going to be expanding into Mexico apparently, and if it gives people that aren't doing anything on the roster stuff to do, like you've got all these people in NXT that could be using that experience, that could go to AAA and learn lucha and build their character more. I think that's a great idea. And you've already got lucha guys in WWE. Have Delgado del Fantasma go down there and do a huge angle with a bunch of luchadors and bring it back to WWE.
Right.
There's a lot of luchadors and a lot of stars. Well, I guess they're releasing Del Rio, who is the champion, which I think is fucking funny as hell.
Yeah.
I saw somebody post that they bought it just so they could fire Del Rio again, which I think is funny, but for them it's about having the library and being able to have those contacts, and it's also a slap in the face to Tony Khan, who has the deal with CMLL, but they still don't see TNA or AEW as a threat, which with some of the stuff that's been happening on AEW lately, it was never a threat. Being on TNT and TBS, they were never going to put the full-throated, endorsement behind AEW like the other networks do for WWE. Yes, Tony Khan has the money, but WWE has the way to grab the stars and keep star power that AEW could never have.
And Tony Khan does not have the fucking wrestling knowledge.
But I have seen rumors that Scott D'Amore, who was fired from Impact Wrestling last year, might become the booker for AEW. If that is true, AEW is going to change dramatically.
Oh, definitely.
And I would say for the better. Because the TNA under Scott D'Amore for the past couple of years, amazing. Not saying it's bad now with Delirious at the helm, but with Scott D'Amore ahead of AEW with no filters on him would be awesome.
You know, would it be awesome if WWE picks him up? Then AEW doesn't have a chance.
I think the only thing is that he runs his own promotion as well, and I don't think WWE... Well, they've got the partnership with TNA, but they're never going to have another booker other than Triple H.
Right.
So he would just be a part of the creative room, and I don't think that's what he wants to do. I think he wants to control his own thing, but... Whatever he decides to do, I like Scott D'Amore. I loved him in Team Canada and TNA, so...
I wonder who the booker is for a AAA promotion.
I don't know if it's Dorian Pena or maybe it's Conan or Vampiro. It could be a lot of people. I haven't. Right. I don't really like Lucha. I loved Lucha Underground because it wasn't straight Lucha. It was, the matches were a little bit different.
Yes. I do watch a lot of AAA, but I don't know who the booker and shit is.
To me, it doesn't flow. It doesn't flow well to me. It doesn't seem coherent. And then you watch, well, WWE is kind of like this now, but you watch Triple Mania and there's just ads fucking on the screen everywhere. Constantly. And not like WWE. WWE has some, but like at AAA, last time I watched Triple Mania, there was ads flashing on the Trons the whole time and that I can't do. WWE is starting to get unbearable with it too, but But who knows? Maybe with WWE owning it, it'll be different.
I'd rather watch the old AAA stuff, like when it was it all Tron here.
I mean, I might dive into it eventually if WWE does release some stuff. Speaking of TNA, they did a special Unbreakable during WrestleMania weekend. I've got to get it so he can watch it, and also TNA did the Rebellion pay-per-view on the 27th, so. I'm going to get that for him as well, so he can watch that as well, and we'll review those. There's one match on Unbreakable you will love. Mance Warner against Sami Callihan, Barbed Wire Massacre.
I watched bits and pieces of it. Dude, yes, I want to see it. No,
you have to see the whole match. That match was fucking bonkers.
And I watched bits and pieces of Sabu's retirement match.
That I haven't watched. I am going to buy... There is someone who makes a Blu-ray of WrestleMania and then puts all the WrestleMania weekend events on it. Ooh. So I'll get a copy of that, and I'll probably get you one too.
Nice.
So we can watch. Yeah, because I want to watch Sabu's last match. So, and I don't want to rent it. I'd rather have it on the Blu-ray with all the other events that I can watch. But so we will review those. But getting into the reviews, and did you watch any of NXT Stand and Deliver?
I did not.
Okay, happened on April 19th. First note, Booker T sucks on commentary. I've said it once, I'll say it again, Booker T sucks.
If they would get him off commentary, I would watch more NXT.
Yeah, the opening match, Ricky Saints, who used to be Ricky Starks in AEW, against Ethan Page, also who was in AEW. I thought it was a very good, well-paced match. Ricky Saints retained the North American title. This match was my match of the night. Hank and Tank versus Fraxium for the NXT tag titles. I wrote, this is the tag team action that the main roster needs. And when we get to SmackDown, they brought some of that with, not with the NXT people, but they did a match on SmackDown in the tag division that was the jumpstart that I think the tag division needs. Exciting, athletic. Hank took himself out of the match with a suicide dive, and he landed on the announce table. It was crazy. I had never watched any of their matches. There's sometimes where I watch NXT where I just fast forward through certain things because sometimes NXT is a lot to get through. They're just the names a lot of the time turn me off because they're just such generic fucking names. But he ran in at the last second to break up a pin, and Hank and Tank ended up becoming the new tag team champions. And Fraxium got called up to the main roster, which I think is weird because Trick Williams lost the title 2 months ago, and he still hasn't been called up to the main roster. I thought he would have been the night after WrestleMania, but I don't know.
But the night after WrestleMania, there was a good match.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it, trust me. Penn and Teller, the magicians, messed with Lexus King, who was Brian Pillman Jr., backstage. Then they did an amazing women's North American title ladder match. Thea Hale, Lola Vice, Izzy Dane. Think some of those names. Just think Izzy Dane. Like, I don't know. Kaylani Jordan, Zarya, and Sol Ruka. Amazing hot spot match. Just a bunch of women doing crazy shit off of ladders. That's pretty much all you're going to see in a ladder match now. You're never going to see 1994 WrestleMania 10 Razor and Shawn Michaels, where it was kind of a slower pace. Now there's multiple ladders and they've got to do it. Not saying it's a bad thing. It's just stuff has changed. That's all. Sol Ruka captured the title. I really like Sol Ruka. She's amazingly athletic.
Isn't that the one that we picked?
Yeah. And she does the Soul Snatcher, that flipping cutter. Just awesome, awesome stuff. And then they did a 6-man tag, Dark State, which is kind of like Nexus and the Shield combined, like their love child. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Against the D'Angelo family. I thought all of them were very impressive.
Better than the fucking Learning Tree and
this is true.
The fucking.
I'll take the Godfather as opposed to the Learning Tree.
Yeah.
I'll take fake Italians as opposed to the Learning Tree any day.
And what was the other fucking thing in AEW? Death Riders?
Yeah. Oh man, and they are death. I wrote the future of WWE could be very bright. There's a lot of talent. Stax turned on Tony D'Angelo with a low blow from behind in Dark State 1. The NXT Women's title, Stephanie Vaquer versus Julia versus Jordan Grace versus Jada Parker. The multiple man matches. It's a crazy paced match.
You mean multiple women now?
Yeah, that too. Stephanie Vaquer retained the title.
That's the match that I was talking about the night for the night after Monday Night Raw.
Oh, dude, that was really good.
The night after WrestleMania. Yep. That match was really good.
It was. The main event for NXT Stand and Deliver: Trick Williams versus Oba Femi versus Javon Evans for the NXT title. I wasn't really impressed with Javon Evans before this match, but he amazed me in this one. I thought it was a great main event, and Oba Femi retained. I'm still surprised that Trick Williams hasn't gotten called up yet. He's losing all the time. I don't see any reason to keep him on NXT right now. That roster is loaded, and I think he needs, even if you renew his feud with Carmelo Hayes, I think that would be really cool. But what do I know? I don't,
what do we know? We're just
a
deep, passionate wrestling fan.
You want to grab your sign? We'll get right into it. He had picked this for the last episode, but he hadn't watched it yet, so we saved it for this one.
Because I'm old, I get tired.
That's fine. WrestleMania 14. Awesome. Well, I have to say,
bits and pieces.
Yeah. See, the thing is, when you go back to watch the Attitude Era, I remember it. I was in high school at the time. I thought everything was awesome. But going back and watching some of it wasn't that great. I mean, I'm a huge fan of The Undertaker. This match with him with Kane, it kind of plotted at points, and it's not as great as I remember it. I remember the Inferno match better than I remember this one.
The Inferno match was really fucking good.
I think the Inferno match was better. But let's get into it. The 15-team Rumble. And who was the mystery team?
Oh, what a rush!
That's right, Legion of Doom, who came out with Sunny. This leads into LOD 2000. When one member of the team is eliminated, the other team had to leave as well. Came down to the Midnight Express and LOD. LOD won to become the number one contenders. And then the light heavyweight title, which they never really did anything with, because it couldn't compare with the cruiserweight division in WCW. There was no way to do it. But it was a good match. Taka Michinoku against Aguila. Aguila ended up being S.A. Rios later on.
You want to talk about WCW's biggest fucking flop? Not pushing a lot of the cruiserweights.
Yeah, I mean, the problem was that they had so many generic luchadors. They put them a lot in 6-man tags. I mean, the problem was Juventud wasn't going to look impressive against, Hulk Hogan or anything. If they had pushed a lot of the younger talent to get bigger and then put the luchadors in, I think that would have worked. Because when they tried to get Billy Kidman into that, they put him in there with Hulk Hogan. Like, no, he should have gone like Buff Bagwell for a while and then gone to Hulk Hogan. Yes. But because those main guys monopolized the top spots, they built Booker T, but he only got so far until Vince Russo got there.
Yep, and then the only one that really broke through, and it's kind of a damn shame, was Goldberg.
Yeah, and that you couldn't deny.
Yeah.
But I'm not throwing shade on the guys that were the old-timers. They were protecting their spot. They wanted to make more money, and they were allowed to do it. That's smart. I mean, I'm not saying, Hogan may be a compulsive liar, but he's smart enough to look out for himself and do everything he can. And have you seen that video of him and Bischoff, and they brought in this, like, freestyle wrestler, and they did it like an NWO video, and they're announcing some kind of wrestling company or something? It was so vague, I have no idea what the fuck they were talking about. And at this point, hey, I'm wearing the Hulk Rules shirt, and he's the reason I became a wrestling fan, but I don't give a fuck about Hulk Hogan anymore. Every time I see him in an interview, he lies every time he opens his fucking mouth, and I don't care anymore. I just don't. And, like, we've got him on the table. I have a bunch of Hulk Hogan action figures. I'm going to do part of my wall where it's, Hulk Hogan stuff. But as far as this version of Hulk Hogan, no interest whatsoever. None. That's so Taka Michinoku against Aguila, good match. I put that style just never translated into the WWF like it did in WCW. Taka retained the title. The backstage thing with The Rock and Jennifer Flowers, where The Rock is just being a cocky, this was right when he first started really coming into his own as The Rock. And I don't think they were writing his stuff as much as they did later on, but it's just cool to see that progression of The Rock.
Was this the interview where you get the eye roll and shit from, or
no, it was a backstage thing. It wasn't any of the stuff that he did with the Nation.
No.
It was just him and the woman. Triple H with China against Owen Hart for the European title. I loved that the DX band did the instrumental, entrance for Triple H. That was pretty cool.
And I think this was Owen Hart's very last WrestleMania.
No, I don't know. Him and Jarrett might have wrestled a tag match in '99 because he died the month later. So it might have been 99.
Might have, yes.
99 might have been. But China,
we can check later on, people.
China was handcuffed to Sergeant Slaughter on the outside of the ring. I thought it was good. China threw powder into Sarge's eyes, and then
he tried to touch her like Jerry Lawler said.
Yeah, just Lawler was out of the box on some of these commentaries. Triple H won the European title, and this pretty much was the end of that push for Owen Hart. He ended up going to the Nation, and then he was still entertaining, still cool stuff, but it never. Once they called him a nugget, it was over. It was over. You killed anything that he had after the Montreal Screwjob that you could have done something with. As soon as you called him a nugget, it was done. It was done. Because that's all the people could think about. But this match I really liked just because it was a spectacle and it was just, the crowd was so into it. Luna Vachon and the artist formerly known as Goldust against Mark Marrow and Sable.
I love what he had written, though. The FU on him.
Yeah, Forever Unchained and all that. This, to me, is when Sable looked her best. Before she had the huge implants the next month. Hey, you want to get implants, you get implants. But I think she looked better. They weren't just so over the top the way they became in late 1998. But Luna constantly was running from Sable, which was funny because she's probably tougher than Sable. Which is the whole point. The heel's supposed to run,
And can actually wrestle better than Sable.
Right. I put Sable is so over it's crazy, and Sable won with a TKO that looked better than when Mark Marrow does it. At least I think so. But the Intercontinental title, this is where I say you go back and you watch certain things and you thought, oh, that stuff was awesome. The Intercontinental title, The Rock against Ken Shamrock. I remember this as being like an awesome match. And then when I go back and I watch The Rock's matches, not so much. Nothing against Ken Shamrock either. He had the intensity, he had the MMA moveset, but to me, it just wasn't there. And they did these guys for a while. They even did it at King of the Ring.
Yeah.
It never clicked with me with those two.
And a typical fucking Rock match. Go outside.
Yeah, exactly. The Shamrock won with the ankle lock, but he didn't let go, so the referee reversed the decision, so Rock retains the title, and Shamrock snapped, and I think he belly to bellied one of the referees and stuff.
I think he put one of them in the ankle lock and shit.
Probably, yeah. I to be honest, I didn't pay a lot of attention. I mean, I watched here and there, but it just, I don't know, something about the Rock's matches, I just don't...
Because he keeps going outside the fucking ring.
Right. Do you remember what the next match was?
Fuck you. I can't remember.
The dumpster match. The
titles. Oh, where they stripped them of the titles because they went in the wrong dumpster.
Yep. The dumpster match, Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie against the New Age Outlaws. If you don't know your history of the Attitude Era, the reason it's a dumpster match was because a couple weeks before, they had pushed the Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie off of the stage in a dumpster, and
what a fucking view that was, though.
Oh yeah, it was really cool. I mean,
there's human beings in there.
Yeah, that was back when the writing was just so good. Crazy match with weapons. The one point where Billy Gunn gets hit with the cookie sheet, and JR's like, whap! It was just such good stuff.
He wobbled you!
Yeah, well, no, that's Dusty. That's Dusty. JR couldn't do Dusty.
No. The only thing missing on commentary was Dusty Rhodes for that one.
But they went to the backstage area, and there was another dumpster, and Terry Funk used a forklift with a pallet on it to close the dumpster and to hold the New Age Outlaws in there. So, new tag team champions, but the next night they got stripped of the title, and the New Age Outlaws won in a cage match later that night.
Then they reformed.
And yeah, the new DX formed where X-Pac debuted, and that was in Albany, New York, which is only about an hour away from here, so that's pretty cool, I think.
Yes.
Undertaker versus Kane may be the best storyline WWE has ever done, in my opinion. But this match, going back and watching it, it's cool because it was the first one, and you got to see the athleticism that Kane had back then. I mean, he was jumping up to the top rope like Rob Van Dam back in early '98 before his knees started getting bad.
And fuck the shit that he was doing in like '99 and early 2000.
Yeah, especially when he was that jacked. Yeah,
yes.
It's crazy. Pete Rose came out and was supposed to introduce everybody, but he cut a promo on Boston, and then he got a tombstone from Kane.
But he came this close to hitting.
Oh, dude, yeah, he was so far away from the mat, it was crazy. My favorite Undertaker entrance of all time, the Druids come out holding torches above, and just, that's such an awesome visual to me. I think it's one of the best entrances they ever did. I wrote, not a pretty match, and definitely showed the athleticism and the strength of both men. Taker dove over the top rope and just obliterated the Spanish announcer.
Yes.
It took 3 tombstones to beat Kane, and then that led to the Inferno match the next month, which is just... And then later on in the year, you had where they joined forces.
Yes, the Brothers of the Destruction.
Yeah, and they were like Vince McMahon's lackeys, and they did whatever he wanted, and they had that match where Austin counted them both down and declared himself the winner, and it just that storyline in '98 with Kane and the Undertaker, no matter what they did with it, just awesome. The main event, Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold Steve Austin for the WWF Championship. Mike Tyson, that's the special enforcer. Shawn Michaels got the full band entrance, with them singing the whole song, which was really cool. They did lots of stuff outside. But at this point, Shawn Michaels' body was just so beat up, they kind of had to do the smoke and mirrors. And I think Austin was kind of at that point, too, where he couldn't go in the ring like he used to.
Because I think this is just after his neck injury.
Actually, it was only like 4 or 5 months after Owen dropped him on his head. Shawn looked good at the beginning, but as the match wore on, you could see that his back was really, really bothering him. I'm guessing, and I haven't heard this in any interview, they gave him some cortisone shots or something in his back before the match, and he was all right. Because when you saw, he did like the shuffle, like the Ali shuffle, at the beginning of the match, and he was throwing jabs and shit. But as the match wore on, when he started taking bumps, you could see that his back stiffened up and he could hardly move, so...
I definitely want to see, like how they did, and I do want us to watch it, the backstage talk from WrestleMania 9.
Yeah.
I want to see them do it for WrestleMania 14.
That would be cool. Stunner by Austin and Tyson came in and it counted the 3 count. That stunner where he swings Shawn Michaels around by his foot, my favorite finisher in WWF No Mercy. That's when I create myself in the game. That's my finisher where he catches the boot, spins him around, and does the stunner. Awesome. Austin, new champ, and then Mike Tyson knocked out Shawn Michaels. Awesome. Good pick, I have to say, good pick. Because it is interesting to go back and watch and see through rose-colored glasses how everybody talks about the Attitude Era, and it's not always that great. So, what have you been playing as far as games lately? What have you been doing?
Mostly been playing some Call of Duty games. Been playing a lot of the new wrestling game.
Yep.
Been loving it.
What was really hard for you to unlock?
3-minute warning.
Yeah.
Because they have you in a tornado tag match and the fucking computer every time you go to try to do some of the objectives, pins, and it's your own tag partner that pins them, and it's like, no, I've got to get the objectives done, you fuck.
That's funny. That's good. So, I haven't played a damn thing lately. I want to. It just...
You play with your thumbs, right?
Yeah. I played games on my phone, unfortunately. But, WrestleMania. It was WrestleMania weekend. It was just... I talked about this with my buddy Dave. He mentioned it. This didn't feel like WrestleMania to me. The night after WrestleMania, the Raw after, felt more like WrestleMania to me than this WrestleMania did. I don't know what it is. It just didn't feel like it. It felt like... I think a lot of it is with how slick Raw looks now on Netflix. I think that takes away from the PLEs because WrestleMania used to look like the huge event, but when every broadcast that you do looks like a huge event, I think it takes away from it.
It does.
You know what I mean? And I think they are doing the wrestlers walking into the arena and them, Cole talking about what's going to happen later in the night. I think they're doing that way too much now.
Just a little bit.
And that's the thing is that Kevin Dunn got into certain things that he would do all the time. And I really do think that they're starting to get into a comfort zone where they don't think they need to change things up sometimes. And that sucks. I'm still going to watch it because I think it's really interesting right now. But I really think they need to change things up a little bit.
Can I say the one thing that's really fucking interesting?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, I want to wait until after you... the world title.
Okay.
Thing.
Well, I thought they did a really awesome opening video for the show. Huge entrance for Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Just with cheerleaders, and he had to come down the stairs in that entire fucking arena. It's a good thing he wasn't yeeting because he probably would have been blown up like the Ultimate Warrior, running to the ring. I'm really glad they put Barrett at the announce table. No, nothing against Corey Graves. But Barrett deserved that chance. He's done really, really well on SmackDown, I think. I think he deserved it, so I thought that was really cool.
He popped his WrestleMania cherry.
Right. Uso, to me, the structure of the match reminded me of SummerSlam 2001, Austin against Kurt Angle, where Kurt Angle just would not give up.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was to me with Jey Uso in this match. Throwing Gunther's moves against him, which Kurt Angle did against Austin in SummerSlam. He made Gunther tap out to get the win. Jey Uso, no world champ. If you went into this thinking that Jey Uso wasn't coming out world champion, I hope you didn't bet on it because you lost money.
You said Jey was going to win, right?
Yeah.
And I said Gunther. And I didn't think that they were going to pull the trigger.
I figured if they hadn't, Jey Uso was done.
Yes. But the night after Raw, fucking great direction that they're going with Gunther.
Oh yeah, I mean,
him snapping on the fucking commentary.
Yeah, and grabbing Michael Cole and then grabbing Pat McAfee.
Yes.
Now it's going to be Pat McAfee against Gunther at Backlash. I'm going to say this, and I know people are going to hate it. Anything to get Pat McAfee off of commentary, I'm all for it.
I want to see him back in the ring.
I do too. I'm sorry. He's trying too hard. He's trying too hard to be the fanboy, and it comes off as inauthentic to me. I'm sorry.
And as we know from old NXT matches and stuff, he can actually fucking go in that ring.
Right. Yep. The next match, I just did not care about. And like I said, they did something on SmackDown to make the tag division kind of mean something a little bit. The World Tag Titles, the New Day against the War Raiders.
Ugh.
What reason did you give me to give a shit about this match? You did that whole huge angle with the New Day turning on Big E. They were wearing street clothes. It was really cool. They went right back to having real, not upbeat music, but hip-hop music. And they're wearing the unicorn tights, but they're still wearing colorful tights. Like, it's just stupid. You did all of that for fucking nothing.
Yep. And I do not like the fucking gear that they had the War Raiders wearing.
And it was only because it was a video game tie-in that they were doing as a sponsor.
And it was stupid.
It was stupid. I love how when the New Day had like fur on their outfits.
Yes.
Wade Barrett made a Giant Gonzalez reference, which was awesome. Corey Graves is good for that stuff too, but that's just so awesome. Thought it was an okay match. No emphasis on the tag division. Kind of fell flat. New tag champs. It just nobody fucking cares until you do something where the Lucha Brothers are tagging together. And you do split up the Judgment Day a little bit and just have, a couple of the people from that be a tag team. It's not working.
I can feel that they might actually be breaking up Judgment Day because the way that Finn is looking.
I think he needs to go back to being the Demon.
Yes.
I think that's, and then they want to sell merchandise is what I think they're going to do too. Naomi versus Jade. What did you think about that one? I thought it was funny the way they did the Weather Channel intro for Jade. A lot of people are calling it hokey. I thought it was creative. Her whole thing is a storm is coming, so you have a guy from the Weather Channel saying, yeah, maybe it's mid-90s. I just thought it was fucking cool.
I'm talking about the match, but the entrances were cool.
Right. I think Jade is very impressive. I think they've built her...
She's really coming into her own.
I think they built her right. They didn't give her too much too soon. They put her in that tag thing with Bianca. They didn't just have her coming in like Nia Jax and being, stupid.
No. And unlike Nia Jax, she has been learning a lot more in that fucking ring.
I agree.
If, on the other hand, somebody that needs to be retaught in the ring, Naomi.
Yeah.
Did you see the fucking thing on SmackDown? I sent you the video.
Yeah. I thought it was a great Mania debut, and Jade won the U.S. title. Jacob Fatu and LA Knight. Love this match.
And did I fucking call that for a pick or what?
Right. LA Knight came in a sports car, kind of meh as an entrance. Like it made no sense. Like he rode shotgun in a fucking sport. He didn't drive it. He fucking just rode shot. Like, how is that cool for the megastar to be riding shotgun in a sports car?
But that was weird. When you look, it actually was him behind the wheel, and one of the cuts, then he's behind the passenger seat.
Yeah, it looks fucking weird. Thought it was a great match. Jacob Fatu's athleticism is just fuck.
Yeah,
it's just. I know people talk about Umaga, and I really liked Umaga, but what that fucker can do is just astonishing. What I want to see when Bronson Reed gets better, you do a prolonged feud with Jacob Fatu against Bronson Reed. You put that moonsault that Jacob Fatu does against the fucking tsunami, and you just have those beasts go together. Fuck, it's gonna be just tear the house down every night.
Fuck yes.
New U.S. champ Jacob Fatu, awesome, and now he's saying shit to Solo. Solo was saying, I got you here, and Jacob bowed up to him on SmackDown. Just so cool.
Those two in a fucking feud, fuck yes, I am all for that.
Yeah, I'm all for Solo. Solo's great too, It's amazing those, you don't want to say racial stereotypes, but those fucking Samoans, it's just, I don't think I've ever seen a bad Samoan wrestler. Well,
The Rock.
Well, he's half. Maybe Manu. But, you know, I think the lisp held him back, and he kind of had a Wheeler Yuta kind of looking face, you know, without the beard. Sorry, Manu, I'm not trying to disparage you, but it is what it is, you know.
At least you don't look like, fuck this shit.
Yeah. This match I really enjoyed. El Grande Americano against Rey Fenix.
This was a really good
Rey
match.
Fenix subbing for Rey Mysterio, who got injured on SmackDown. So cool that the Lucha Brothers both debuted on WrestleMania on different nights.
Yes.
Fucking cool. El Grande Americano shoved El Hijo del Vikingo in the crowd before the match. I thought that was going to lead to Vikingo against El Grande Americano the next night on Raw. Didn't happen. I think that was a missed opportunity, especially when you just announced that they bought AAA.
Unless they're building up to it.
I mean, they might be, but I thought it would have been cool to get a huge ovation.
Like him pissing off more and more of the luchadors.
Right.
Then doing it.
Yeah, no, that's a cool scenario as well. I like Gable as Americano because he's changing up his style some. He's doing more lucha stuff, and I think it's great. It's just like Mr. America for Hulk Hogan. He's delusional. Same with the Blue Blazer for Owen Hart. He's delusional. It's not me. I'm not Chad Gable. I'm a Grande Americano. I'm Chad Gable.
Yeah,
it's whoa.
Uh-oh.
Oh man. I thought I silenced it, but that's my ringtone, Ozzy Osbourne. But I think it's really cool. Rey Fenix did a 450. No, it was El Grande did a 450 backsplash. So awesome. I think it was better than Rey Mysterio would have been.
Yes, definitely,
completely different. El Grande Americano put a metal plate in his mask and did a diving headbutt off the top rope, which to me, I know it's a small thing. I know I nitpick. But if you're doing a headbutt off the top rope with a steel plate on your forehead, you're going to fuck yourself up just as much as the guy that you're hitting.
Yes. I
know it's wrestling. You're supposed to suspend disbelief. But some stuff is just so fucking obvious. And I don't like to bitch about everything, but some things I just want to, sell it like Benoit used to sell doing the diving headbutt, where he'd actually grab his own head and stagger like he fucking hurt himself too. I don't know.
Yes.
But, so Americano won. This match, I kind of did 30-second skips on this match. Tiffany Stratton against Charlotte Flair for the women's title.
I skipped the whole fucking thing, and I'm glad who won it.
Charlotte sucks. Tiffany Stratton carried this match, in my opinion.
She definitely fucking carried it.
She won with the prettiest moonsault ever. Say what you want about Charlotte Flair, she fucking sucks. Sucks. And every time I see Ric Flair say she's the greatest women's wrestler ever, I want to punch him in the face. I never would because it's fucking Ric Flair. I do.
No, you might fucking kill him.
Yeah, probably. But Tiffany won with the prettiest moonsault ever. A lot of people wouldn't have expected that. A lot of people expected Charlotte to win. But I'm glad Tiffany won. I think she's doing really well.
And she actually got her own entrance that she wanted.
Oh, yeah, she came out in a Barbie box, which was just so cool, And, of course, Jim Cornette mentioned on his podcast, anybody that comes out of a box is over. So, that's pretty funny. But the match of the entire weekend for me, the triple threat match, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth freaking Rollins.
Which I'm liking that they're not calling Seth freaking Rollins very much.
They've started doing it, though. They did it this week on Raw, so I think they like the way it sounds, But Rollins came out with a flamethrower.
Me.
Yeah. The family... When they dropped down the things above the entranceway and they had the Samoan dynasty, the family, images showing above
that was
Roman
fucking
Reigns,
awesome.
and then they lowered it all the way down so it was behind him as he was. That was fucking great. Like I say, that stuff. Why aren't you doing more of that and changing up everything? instead of doing the same wrestlers walking into the building at the beginning of the show all the time. There's got to be other ways, because you're being so creative on some shit, and then we'll talk about Cody Rhodes' entrance. What the fuck was that? But we'll talk.
Last year, he had a great entrance.
Yep. I loved the Punk video where they incorporated OVW footage, and they used his Killswitch Engage music, which is so cool.
Yes.
And some people were like, what's that music? He didn't always use In Living Color.
No.
But whatever. But In Living Color played him to the ring live. Always love. Well, don't always love. Some of the live ones aren't great, but this one was really cool.
And this is actually twice that they played him to the entrance for WrestleMania.
That's right. I put Roman looks really weird in white Jordans and the gauntlets. Just to me, he's worn black or red so long that white. It was like when Triple H did white or went to blue, or when he did purple for a while. It was like it just looks so weird.
I can buy him wearing red,
right?
But blue or purple.
Right, I mean, it only mattered for a little bit.
Yes.
You got used to it, but it just, at the beginning of it, it looked weird to me, but, you know. Whatever.
But he did look cool with the biker shorts, but
right,
he had to wear those, people.
Right. I liked Roman Reigns getting caught in a pedigree off the spear. That was pretty cool by Rollins. Such an amazing match. Great story told through the whole thing.
And we already fucking called this about somebody getting stabbed in the back.
Yep. Heyman handed Punk a chair and then hit him with a low blow. And then Heyman low-blowed Roman Reigns. He handed the chair to Rollins. And Rollins pins Reigns after the stomp. Rollins had wore out Punk with the chair, so he couldn't come back and, stop it. So Rollins won. You've got the, as we'll talk about with Raw the next night, you've got the makings of something here.
Yes.
And I think this whole build-up to that match is really, really good. And
the one thing that was worth it, though, was the big smile on Punk's face, though, that he finally got the main event at WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah, that was really cool. I mean, that for a guy like him who's dedicated most of his life
and he fucking deserved to main event.
Right. Night 2 started off with Stephanie McMahon. The McMahons just need to go away. All of them. I'm sorry. She's got this fucking podcast now where she's doing all this stuff. I am not going to watch a podcast where that entitled, daughter of a billionaire is interviewing people.
Mm-mm.
I'm just not. And the only reason that they're doing it is because it's not for love for Stephanie. They're doing it because Triple H is running the show. They're not going on Stephanie's podcast for that.
No.
But whatever. That's my opinion. Whatever. But it started out with the women's world title triple threat. I thought it was kind of funny, the entrance for Bianca with the jump roping, and stuff, because she has that huge long braid. So I thought that was kind of cool. Rhea Ripley, god damn.
I fucking loved her entrance because it was the Joker Batman.
It just... I feel bad sexualizing, but just fuck me, she looks so good. It just, oh my god.
Careful, Mommy's always on top.
Yeah, right. It was, and Io Sky, of course, comes in as champion. Great match to start.
I like how you just announced Io Sky, and Io Sky just comes in as champion.
Well, she's been an afterthought, so but the great match.
But she fucking shined!
Right. The crowd was really into it. Io won, with a moonsault on both of them, so that, that was pretty cool. Sin City Street Fight. I thought it was an okay entrance for Drew until I realized that the only reason he did it was because it was promoting a fucking video game again. Doom, the new Doom game, so whatever. Kerry King from Slayer played Damian Priest out. That was kind of cool.
Nice.
I thought McIntyre doing that dive was pretty sick.
But at least the Doom entrance looked a lot better than the fucking War Raiders.
It's true.
They should have fucking had the War Raiders do the Doom entrance. I think it would have looked even more sicker.
Yeah, but with the Clash of the Clans one, the War Raiders, the Clan, I get that. But I get what you're saying. They use stairs, they use chairs, they use tables. Drew McIntyre took a fucking selfie, laying on top of, Damian Priest at one point. the razor's edge through the table, that was just... It was crazy. And that table, the new table that they have for the PLEs, that thing just falls apart. It's crazy. They just, the sides and everything just fall right off of it. It's.
Speaking of the announcement tables and shit, did you notice that they looked like roulette tables?
They did.
Which was awesome.
That was really cool. Damian Priest had his head was up against the chair in the corner. Claymore up against the chair. McIntyre wins. They're always going to do something with McIntyre. Damian Priest kind of is...
They kind of been treating him like an afterthought.
Yeah, it sucks because he's really talented, but...
He is very talented.
They've got such a loaded roster, you can't do everything with everybody, unfortunately. The Intercontinental title match, Penta versus Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio.
This one was way out of left field who fucking won it, because I thought Finn was going to win it.
Yeah. I loved the huge spear from one table to the other from Braun Breaker on Carlito. I like how Carlito's just the lackey that just gets the shit beat out of him every time.
Yeah.
He's like D-Lo for the Nation of Domination. He's the one that always got his ass kicked.
But he's not going like this.
Yep. The crowd was really into Dom. Dom used a frog splash on Balor's pin and got the win, which to me, in the first match, Io Sky did the moonsault onto the two opponents. It's the same fucking finish for both of those matches. Only one match in between those two. Right. That kind of stuff just, it's lazy to me, but whatever. New Intercontinental Champion. I wrote pretty much the same ending as the women's title match.
But Dom does deserve this.
He does. He's really good.
But this is actually leading... If they have Finn fucking turn on everybody, this will be fucking great.
Yeah, I would like to see that. And there's been videos out there where they show the Dominic's halfway up the entrance ramp, and you see the cameraman that's shooting him tell him to go back to the ring to celebrate more because of how hot the crowd was for him. So that's a pretty cool Easter egg that they put out there. And now Randy Orton against a mystery opponent because Kevin Owens was injured. It's TNA champ Joe Hendry. Huge pop. As soon as the music came, it was... And I hear people complain. It was a quick match, yes. But I think Hendry looked good. Orton beat him with an RKO. And then he showed him respect. He told him to soak it in. And he pointed to the crowd and everything. And then he hit him with another RKO. And I see people complaining, well, they just buried the TNA World Champion like Triple H did to Taz in 2000. No. It's not the same thing. That whole thing was an ego stroke for Triple H in 2000. This was nothing to do with an ego stroke for Randy Orton.
No.
You did not bury Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry, he's the fucking Viper. It's WrestleMania. It's Randy Orton, a 14-time world champion, beat Joe Hendry by Joe Hendry being cocky and doing his pose. It's the RKO out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Nobody should be kicking out of it. Oh. And then they say, well, yeah, he RKO'd him afterwards, after he showed him respect. He's the fucking Viper. It's the same as Austin toasting a beer with somebody and then getting the fucking stunner afterwards. Same goddamn thing. Same. Granted, we pick apart things here. But some wrestling fans just drive me up a fucking wall where they think if one guy loses something, they lose everything. No. You are not going to destroy... Well, I can't say you're not gonna. But that one match is not going to destroy what Joe Hendry is.
Especially Jesus Christ, he's all over the fucking place.
I thought of this when I was watching it. Jeff Jarrett is rolling over in his grave and he's not even dead yet. To see the TNA World Heavyweight Champion against Randy fucking Orton at WrestleMania. They could have picked anybody off of the roster, and they picked the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And you think that fucking buried him?
No!
What the fuck? They have Joe Hendry's, I bought it, the t-shirt that he wore that night. They're selling TNA World Champions merchandise on WWE's fucking website for WrestleMania. And you think it buried him?
Fuck no!
What kind of fucking... God damn, I don't understand some of the wrestling fans. You are the kind of people that when I go to an indie show and there's guys that just came off of WWE TV, you have no idea who the fuck they are. Like when we went to the Wrestling Classic and Dijak had only been off WWE TV for a month and nobody was going to his fucking table. But meanwhile, Devon's charging $80 for a fucking autograph and people are going up to his table. It just... Some fans irk the fuck out of me, and when they say stupid stuff like this, just to get clicks on TikTok and shit, when they know that their fucking take on it is wrong, well, some of them do. But some of them are just fucking wrong. But
like the video I sent you, the guy saying that, Joe Henry's just out there for himself, not promoting TNA wrestling. Are you fucking kidding me?
He's the TNA World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania, wearing the belt, coming out to his TNA entrance music. How is he not promoting the fucking brand? That's right. That's so. What did you expect him to do? Have a banner, coming out of his ass saying TNA's pay-per-view is next weekend,
really?
Trailing behind him, or to do an on-camera and then have Randy Orton RKO him in mid-sentence.
Really?
Promote. What do you? How much more promotion can you get for the guy than the TNA World Heavyweight Champion being Randy Orton's mystery opponent? It could have been Sami Zayn. It could have been anybody off of that fucking roster, but they picked the TNA World Heavyweight Champion as a surprise. And it was one of the loudest pops the entire fucking weekend. Cody Rhodes didn't get that much of a reaction. No. John Cena didn't get that much of a reaction. And it was really hard to hear the crowd at some points during that because of the way the stadium was. You could hear that pop.
Literally.
So that's AJ Styles against Logan Paul. Amazing high-flying match.
I'm hoping this leads into a feud with AJ Styles and Karrion Kross.
Right, and if you saw the unscripted promo that Karrion Kross did on the post-game show, if you haven't, go watch it. Because this reminds me of when The Miz went off on Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack. These shoot promos that some of these guys are doing, venting their frustrations, it's almost just like Punk's pipe bomb. They need to do more of this stuff to get attention, because it was really good. Cross tried to get AJ Styles to use Nux, and he wouldn't do it, and Logan Paul won with his pulverizer move. I didn't expect I don't know, I can't remember. I don't have the paper with our predictions. I forgot to grab that.
I think I said AJ. Yeah, we both said AJ.
Probably. But it just... Logan Paul, he's there because he's a social media darling. He gets them publicity. He's a great athlete. His matches are good, but I just don't care.
He's a fucking idiot.
I don't care. I don't get excited for his matches. He's the same snarky, his promos are all the same no matter who he's wrestling. I just don't care. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez against Lyra Valkyria and
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch making her return, replacing Bayley. So the man has come back around for the women's tag team titles.
But this thing the way that they did this made no sense to me because the next night.
Right, we'll talk about that. I thought Lyra looked really good in the white and gold, flapping the wings and stuff.
Calm down.
That's not what I meant. But and I've heard people saying that Lyra is not getting over.
Oh, bullshit.
The crowd, does the woo with her entrance and shit. If they're not going fucking nuts like the Attitude Era, people think that these people aren't over. It's fucking stupid to me. When she cut that promo on Becky Lynch this past week on Raw, the crowd was fucking into it. They like her. Just because you don't think that she's over, some of the women, aren't over.
I think some of their brain cells aren't clicking
up there. They think that everybody needs to get a huge ovation for everything that they do. And it doesn't work that way, But I wrote, and this is me, Liv is determined to look sexy as fuck every time she's on. She was wearing that body suit with just, and I don't want him to go back to bra and panties matches. I don't. But if some of these women want to dress the way they want to dress, Let them fucking do it. They don't all have to look the same. They don't all have to... I'm not saying that I want them to all be the divas from the divas division back in the day. But if they want to dress more provocatively and they enjoy doing it, and why not? It's not like we're at... Well, I kind of was asking for them to go back and do the divas bikini shoots and stuff. If they want to do those things and they're not being forced into it, let them do it. If those girls want to do OnlyFans and you know, I'm not saying they need to do nudes and stuff, but if they want to branch out and they want to have their own content where they control it, let them do it.
Right? Don't fucking punish them for it.
Exactly. You know, like some of them wear, you know, really not conservative, but they're not. But I mean, Stephanie McCourt, her ass is out a lot, and a lot of these women, I'm not complaining. You know, I'm a single guy. I'm not complaining. Mickie James was complaining, which, did I mention this yet?
Yes.
Okay. Mickie James was complaining, saying that I don't want to see these women's asses all the time. Now, this is the woman who on her first WrestleMania match fingered Trish Stratus in the middle of the match and then licked her fingers.
Right? And she's got pissed about it.
But she doesn't want to see women's asses. What the fuck?
And look
Read
at
the room, you know?
And look at half the fucking outfits that she wears.
Yeah, she wore half her entire run in TNA. She was wearing fucking Daisy Dukes,
right?
Whatever. But they did a great job of isolating Lyra from Becky. Becky and Lyra won Manhandle Slam, so now it's Lyra 2 belts. Well, it was.
Then the next night,
yep, new tag team champions. This one, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out on his 4-wheeler to announce the attendance. And what did he do?
He ran right into a fucking barricade.
And the woman took a delayed bump. I think she was trying to sue. And even though she took the delayed bump, Nick Khan was over there real quick. And he runs the whole thing. He was over there real quick because there could have been a lawsuit.
Right.
Whether she got injured or not, that's negligence.
Yes.
He's going around there as quick as he can, and even if he did it earlier in the day, he didn't control that thing at all. And that could have been... What if they had a cancer kid that beat cancer that Jey Uso gave his sunglasses to on Raw? What if that kid was there instead of that woman, and Austin just rammed in and knocked down a kid that had cancer? That would have been front page news, and it would have been all over the news that they knocked down a cancer patient and that family's, you know, they're suing. You pay how much? Thousands of dollars to be front row, and Austin, you know, potentially runs you down with a fucking 4-wheeler? That's just negligent. They're just crazy to me, but...
The one thing that I'm wondering if it... Because the mats are all new, and those are brand new fucking tires, if it just gripped and not wanting to slide.
But you can't tell me that he didn't do that as a run-through earlier in the day.
Right.
You can't tell me that they moved everything and he didn't know what, but whatever. I know
that he was having troubles with the 4-wheeler to get it up on the ramp.
Right. They aren't suing me, so I don't give a shit.
Right.
But this match, the main event, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. What the fuck was this match? Cena came out, no Titantron, everything was black with just plain white letters that said John Cena. Cody Rhodes came out and there was motocross riders. What the fuck does Cody Rhodes have to do with motocross? If you thought that looked cool, it didn't look good at all. That looked bad. It didn't help Cody at all. The crowd was already starting to boo Cody. And this did not work.
They should have had Cody fucking turn heel.
Yep. And I liked the motorized helmet that Cody wore.
Right.
Like his skull logo that flipped up. I thought that was cool, but they're doing it way over the top for these ad reads. Where when these guys are doing their entrance and they're reading ads, I don't. The ads on the ring, you know, don't bother me, but they're going way too much. I'm paying for Netflix, and I'm getting commercial on top of commercial.
Right.
Not only commercials in the match, but then you're reading ads on top of it. Just how much money do you fuckers need? Seriously.
I mean, look at Look at some of the merchandise shit and how expensive it is.
Yep. There's a lot of boos for Cody. I wrote, Sheamus needs to make fun of how pale Cena is.
Yes.
Bring it full circle. Because Cena's pale as shit right now.
He's paler than Sting was in 97.
Right? Cena changed up all his offense. He even did a poke to the eye to Cody. Did an avalanche.
He did what Captain Insano does?
Yeah. He did an avalanche AA. And then Travis Scott comes out, takes like 3 minutes to get down to the fucking ring after a ref bump. So stupid. Babyface Cody won't use the belt and hit Cena. Cena hit a low blow again, and he used the belt, won the title. I wrote, what a shit match in main event. And The Rock didn't show up. You did all that at Elimination Chamber.
What the fuck was that Elimination Chamber with The Rock then?
You did not need that at all. You could have had Cody Rhodes come out, congratulate, Cody. Cena come out. Yeah, Cody come out to congratulate Cena. Cena could have kicked him in the balls after hugging him. Didn't need The Rock for that at all.
Nope.
Didn't need it at all.
It definitely didn't need fucking Travis Burke out there.
Travis Scott, but
close. Oh, whatever.
But yeah.
And he's calling himself Cactus Jack.
Yeah,
that bugs the fuck out of me.
That bothers me too, yeah. But it wasn't good. It just wasn't. That triple threat match with Rollins, Reigns, and Punk should have been the main event of night 2. That was just shit. But the next night on Raw, which is always the Mania after Raw, is really good. I think Cena did good with his promo to start the show, but he needs a new look on his face.
Yes.
He doesn't have a look of anger. He has a look of either
constipation.
Yeah, that or he shit himself or he smelled a bad fart. That's the look. He doesn't have a look of anger and indignation. He just has a shit-sniffing look on his face. But Orton rolling out from underneath the ring and hitting the RKO.
And you hear, shit!
Yeah, that was awesome. So it's going to be Orton against Cena at Backlash. If Cena loses the title on the PLE right after WrestleMania, that'll be fucking gold.
Right? And weren't they not supposed to face each other anymore for the world title?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because I do remember that the stipulation was, if Orton loses, and Cena is champion at all, he cannot compete for the title.
This is the company where CM Punk had to remind them that Orton had punted him, a couple of years before when they did the feud with Orton, and so fact-checking themselves is not...
I know, it's like...
I know. The next match is awesome. Well, the first thing wasn't a match, but women's tag titles, a rematch from WrestleMania. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria against Liv and Raquel. They lose the titles, and Becky Lynch turns heel again. What? Is she going to win the Intercontinental title at Backlash? And
I hope not.
So now she's champion again?
I hope not.
Whatever. They did an impromptu tag title match. New Day against Alpha Academy, Otis and Tozawa. But who came out? Rusev debuted and destroyed Alpha Academy. Of course, the New Day, New Day came out, or New Day powdered and, left the ring and all that.
Yeah, they ran away like little bitches. They ran away.
Io Sky was out doing a promo. Stephanie Vaquer interrupted, and they made it a match. Awesome match, Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer.
Yes.
Roxanne Perez and Julia interrupted the match, and then Rhea Ripley came out to help, so that was cool.
They might do a 6-woman tag match with them.
They might.
If the other ones can get a third person.
Right. They did a championship celebration with Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and Jimmy Uso. That was pretty cool. And then Gunther came out to the announce table and, confronted Michael Cole, dragged him off the desk and he started to choke him out. Pat McAfee defended Cole, and he got choked out. So now it's going to be Pat McAfee against Gunther at Backlash. A lot of people are saying that the promo that Pat McAfee cut on Raw was a really great promo. I don't think so, in my opinion, but we each have our own opinions. So,
but this is a great opponent for Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I think him and Gunther will be a great match.
Fuck yes.
They did an Intercontinental title match, Penta against Dominic Mysterio. I thought it was a good match, and JD McDonough made his return and helped Dominic Mysterio retain.
And I'm glad to see him back from his that injury, because that could have fucking killed him.
Yeah, he punctured his lung. Yeah, he could have broken his neck with the way he hit that table. It's really cool, and the Judgment Day stuff is really good.
And did you see the look on Finn's face, though?
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. Yep. It's intriguing what they're doing.
Yes, it is very intriguing.
And then Seth Rollins comes out with Heyman. I wrote you this note. All Rollins needed was a yellow hat, and he could be Theodore Shackelford from Curious George.
Yes, and
he looked like the man in the yellow hat.
And I sent you the fucking gif of it.
Yeah, it just...
what did I text back to you? Does that make Paul Heyman Curious fucking George?
Yeah. Punk came out. Rollins only got a couple of sentences out. Punk was taping his fist on the way to the ring, which is... He's so good. He's just, Punk got stomped, and then, of course, the Tribal Chief came out. He hit a spear, and then he Superman punched Paul Heyman. And Paul
he sold it fucking perfectly.
He just crumbled. It was great. It reminded me of when... Remember the first time Undertaker punched Paul Bearer?
Yes!
Paul Bearer just crumbled, because they're both kind of the same size. Whatever. He was set up for the spear, and what happened?
Braun Breaker!
With a hoodie on, spears Roman Reigns, and then he speared Punk. Did a super spear through the barricade on Roman Reigns. Punk got stomped again, and then a stomp on Roman. This is a new faction.
I'm fucking loving it.
I do too. It's great. I've heard people saying that Becky Lynch might be the female of the group, seeing how she's been Rollins, married to Rollins.
Please, just leave her out of the faction.
Right. I kind of want to go over SmackDown a little bit. Aleister Black is back.
Yes.
Did the Black Mass kick on the Miz.
He's still selling the eye injury.
Yeah, right.
5 years later.
Cena versus Orton at Backlash. They did a whole promo and everything. I don't think Cena is coming off as authentic in this whole thing.
No.
The way he's doing it just doesn't work for me. But there's a new women's U.S. champ, Zelina Vega. She beat Chelsea Green.
Which I'm surprised about.
Yeah. Fraxium debuted on SmackDown. But this match, this is what I think is going to reset the tag division. A TLC match for the tag team titles. The Motor City Machine Guns against the Street Profits against DIY.
Yes.
If you wanted to get people invested in this tag division and the people in it, this is the match that did it. Montez Ford used a guy's prosthetic leg from the...
Yes!
I wrote that this is the match that was needed to give a spark to the tag division. I think it would have been good instead of Fraxium debuting. To be honest, I don't even remember. Oh, the Delgado Phantasma guys. That's who they debuted against. You should have had them be a mystery, kind of like when the Hardys came back at WrestleMania. They should have been added to this TLC match. It would have made it even better, in my opinion. But Street Profits won and retained. Awesome match. I think this is just what they needed.
Absolutely.
Let's see, where did I want to go? Oh, one thing I wanted to show. I pulled all my stuff out of my storage unit, and I was going through some things. Since they were in the storage unit, the tapes are kind of moldy now, but I don't care because I'm going to display them anyways.
Hey, they still look good.
Yep. The first In Your House, Diesel against Psycho Sid. I mean, you had Bret Hart against Hakushi, the Smoking Guns against Owen Hart and Yokozuna.
This match was really good.
Yeah, Bret Hart against Hakushi was good. Razor Ramon against Jeff Jarrett, the roadie. It was supposed to be, the 1-2-3 Kid was supposed to be in that match, but he had injured his neck, so it was a handicap match. Adam Bomb against Mabel in a King of the Ring qualifying match.
And the very first wrestler that you got to meet in person.
Yep, Adam Bomb. Bret Hart against Jerry Lawler. The bonus match, Undertaker against Kama, and then Bam Bam Bigelow against Tatanka.
And these two did face off in a casket match, if I remember correctly.
Yes, not on this one, but it was...
a different one.
Yep. But they did the Acclaim thing where they do video game secret codes at the end of the video. Ooh. And then in your house, number 2, the Dudes with Attitudes, Diesel and Shawn Michaels against Yokozuna and Owen Hart.
I got an idea for that, but I'll tell you later.
Okay, Razor Ramon against Dean Douglas, Bret the Hitman Hart versus Jean-Pierre Lafitte. If you don't know who that is, that's PCO currently. Savio Vega against Waylon Mercy.
Where is... I want to see the younger him. Right there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he looks very different.
Very different, yeah. Bam Bam Bigelow against the British Bulldog. And Henry Godwin versus Psycho Sid. It's really cool. But I wanted to show the WCW ones, the Superstar Series, Goldberg. And then...
Yeah,
Macho Man Randy Savage.
And that's still... Oh.
Well, yeah, it's not sealed. It just has the plastic still on it.
But hey, at least it don't have mold on it.
Right. So, you know, and anybody that says, oh, you shouldn't have left it, fuck you, they're mine. And I wasn't going to watch the VHSs anymore anyways. If anything, I'm going to buy the DVD that somebody burned, you know, with these on it, and I'll just watch that. And I'm going to display these. I'm going to actually I'm going to buy a shelf that looks like an old school... you know, video store shelf, and I'm going to display these on them. That's what I'm going to do. Because I have more, and I'm going to show them on future episodes. What did you bring with you?
I just bought this the other day, and I don't want to take it out of the package. Because it said it was used, but this looks brand fucking new in the case. Saints Row 2.
Mm-hmm.
I know people call this a fucking GTA knockoff, but god damn it, it's standalone and it has a couple of fucking series to it.
No, that's cool.
If you want to check that out for yourself.
Yeah, PlayStation 3. I never owned a PlayStation 3. Yeah, that looks like the original plastic on it, so.
Then, I got this to hang behind us for a video game episode.
Eventually,
if you want to grab that side. Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
That's pretty sick. I like that.
Right?
I like that a lot. Yeah. Also, one of the perks of working at a retailer, you get to find cool stuff.
That's what I forgot to bring. Those two I bought.
One of 3,000 Ultimate Sting as one of the half of the Blade Runners. I think that's really cool. And I had to have this.
Yes.
Steve Austin as the ringmaster with the $1 million title. I thought that was really good. It has the lower half of Gorilla Monsoon. But,
you're going to collect them all to get Gorilla, aren't you?
No, I'm not, because you got to buy Ken Shamrock and DDP to get... If I'm going to do that, I'm just going to have somebody make me a custom.
Right.
So.
And did you get the WCW Sting from the AEW one?
I didn't get that one.
Because I bought that one, and I bought the WCW Sting.
That's cool.
From AEW.
Yeah, that one was cool too. I didn't have enough cash on me at the moment. But we did Nick's picks earlier on. I picked an event.
What? Oh wait! Quick, give me a piece of paper and a Sharpie.
All right, here. Use my notes. Use my show notes. But I picked Raw from February 1997.
Wait!
We got dead air time for you to just write Dave. Everybody knew what you were doing.
Bite me!
Yeah, Dave's picks. Why is this significant? Well, you'll find out. The first match was the Godwins against the New Blackjacks. This match went way too long.
And it kind of...
And this is February of 1997. Now think about this. The NWO has been going since June of the year before. Stone Cold has already done his Austin 316. This is leading up into WrestleMania 13, and you're seeing the Godwins against the New Blackjacks. That shows you where the WWF was at the beginning of 1997.
Yeah, and at this point, this is when they were starting to go like this a little bit. Starting to...
Yep. But the reason I picked this is because this is the night where Jerry Lawler had invited ECW to come to Raw, and that's exactly what happened. ECW invaded Raw. The Eliminators and Paul E. came out from the crowd, and the Eliminators did a total elimination to the ring attendant. I don't think it was a ring attendant. It was just some like local guy that they did it to that could take the move. I thought it was funny. On commentary, Vince McMahon says the King's answer has been challenged. I thought that was kind of funny. You know, but some people will say Vince was the greatest announcer, which is fucking stupid.
What a maneuver!
Yeah. In an ECW match, they did Little Guido against Big Stevie Cool, and Paul Heyman joined Jerry Lawler and Vince McMahon on commentary. Raven came out during the match and just kind of stood there with the ECW title on. Stevie Richards does the Stevie kick and got the win. They had the whole BWO. The BWO was throwing out, you know, T-shirts and all that stuff. So it was cool.
I fucking love the BWO.
And then, as we're talking about WWF in 1997, the Honky Tonk Man comes out to officiate an arm wrestling match between Marlena and Sunny. Sunny does the Rick Rude thing where, you know, all you fat, you know, overweight people that have come to see me and all, you know, just, she did that. She stalled, you know, she pulled her arm away and all that stuff to kind of elongate it a little bit. I thought it was funny that the Honky Tonk Man's supposed to be the ref, but he's cheering for Sunny the whole time.
Oh my God.
You know, Sunny threw powder in Marlena's face. Salvio Vega came out and like grabbed Marlena, and Goldust came out to defend her, and they started the match because they were supposed to have a match later on. So, well, they're both out here. Why not start the match? Miguel Perez was on commentary. Eventually, he would become part of Los Barricos with Savio Vega, but this was when they were first introducing him into the... But then again, he wasn't on TV a lot after that. He kind of didn't really... Once they started Los Barricos, he was on TV. But,
and he's the one that got his neck broken, right?
He might have been. I don't
when
remember.
Edge debuted.
It was either him or Jose Estrada. I think
one of them.
I think it might have been Estrada. But I wrote they had good matches. It just wasn't clicking.
No,
they didn't have. It just some of the stuff just wasn't clicking for me. But the Nation came out and attacked, and Goldust got the DQ. Miguel Perez jumped in and helped out Goldust, so that that was pretty cool. The King went out to interview Ken Shamrock, who was on the outside, sitting at ringside, and he was saying how he's been friends with Shamrock, and he taught him submission moves, and the whole time Shamrock's got the look on his face like, what the fuck are you talking about? I have no idea who you are. And he pretty much called King a liar, which was great. And then later on in commentary, King is still talking to McMahon like he knows Ken Shamrock, which is just... There's times where I hated King, but this era I loved King. And when they come back from the commercial, Paul Lee's sitting there and he's like, man, has this show sucked without ECW or what? And if you've ever watched the rise and fall of ECW, you know that phrase. You've heard that. They did Mikey Whipwreck against Taz, and Sabu dove, basically fell.
Yeah, fell off the R.
The R of the Raw, it was just the RAW, which is funny. Taz choked out Mikey Whipwreck. He gave him the head and arm Tazplex and then choked him out. I thought this was funny. The Full Metal album, which was the entrance themes. I got to pull this up because, now remind you, this is 1997, okay?
Yes.
1997. This was the track listing for Full Metal, the album. Let me. What did you enjoy this while I'm doing that? Did you enjoy the pick that I...
Yes.
Okay. All right, so here it is. Full Metal album. Let me go. Come on. Wikipedia. Track listing. We're All Together Now, the WWF Superstars and Slam Jam. Thorn in Your Eye, which was used as a Raw theme for... Diesel Blues, the Diesel theme. Diesel had been gone since the beginning of 97, 96. Over a year. Not over a year, but close to a year. The Lion King, King Mabel, is on here. The 1-2-3 Kid. He'd been gone for over almost a year. Goldust, okay. The Smoking Guns. Razor Ramon.
Been gone.
The Bret Hart theme, okay. Hakushi had been gone since the end of 95. The Graveyard Symphony, the Undertaker theme, he was still using that. Sexy Boy, the Shawn Michaels theme, where it was him singing it, but it was a different version of it, and it was just bad. And then the With My Baby Tonight, the Jeff Jarrett thing, they finally got that onto an album. They were still doing this album in 1997. They didn't release the WWF Volume 2 until later that year. It just blows my mind that that's how out of touch they were with certain things in 97. Just
very fucking out of touch.
That album was what sponsored Monday Night Raw. Just fuck. Okay, I had to say that. They had the Headbangers come out, and all through the night, Vince McMahon had been saying that there was going to be a big surprise. And who was it?
You want to do it this time?
Oh, what a rush. It was LOD, which I talked to him earlier. The surprise in his pick was LOD, and the surprise in my pick was LOD. And I had forgotten that was part of the show. So I thought it was a really good tag match. They did a double count out. And the referee, they did the Doomsday on Headbangers anyways, so.
And this is actually when they weren't utilizing the Headbangers very much.
Right, and they did the Tell Me a Lie HBK video, because Shawn Michaels had just lost his smile, so they did that video.
Lost his smile.
And then they did another ECW match. Devon Dudley came out with Sign Guy Dudley against Tommy Dreamer with Beulah. And this was when Beulah pretty much looked her best at this point in 97. But I digress. They used pans. They used canes.
I like where he called the fucking pan...
The ring bell. He called it a ring bell. Vince McMahon is horrible.
Yes! And it's like, that's a fucking frying pan, Vince!
Dreamer did a drop kick into the steel steps onto Devon. King and Paul Heyman were fighting on commentary the whole time. Dreamer won with a DDT. And then Bubba Ray Dudley came out and attacked Dreamer. They did a 3D on Dreamer. And then who came out?
The Sandman!
Yep, comes out, has hits the beer can off his head, bleeds.
But they used this generic fucking entrance theme song.
Yeah, he did sick chair shots to both Dudleys.
But I want to say this, I'm glad on Netflix that they used the Kiss theme song for Taz.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. After the match, Heyman tried to attack Lawler, at the announce table, and that was setting up for stuff later on. This was the last ECW match on the show, but still, I thought this was really cool. They did a recap of Sid winning the WWF title the week before, and the main event was Farouk against The Undertaker. I have to say, the entrance for the Nation of Domination in this era, where PG-13 did the rap to the ring, I loved that entrance. Yes. I thought it was so good. I forgot that Billy Silverman, before he was a WCW ref, he was a WWF ref. That was kind of cool. And the crowd, did you notice the crowd saying to PG-13, chanting it, "We are the nation of masturbation"? You could clearly hear that over the commentary, and it was great. I thought it was an okay match. The Undertaker no-sold a pile driver. The Nation got DQ'd, and LOD came out to help, and that's the way it ended. Pretty cool. I picked it mainly because it was the ECW invasion, but I thought it was a good match.
And Undertaker was still fucking was over.
Oh, absolutely. He was going for the world title at WrestleMania a couple weeks later. The last thing I want to mention, we are going to be doing a table at the Wrestling Classic number 6, Saturday, June 14th, at the South End Community Center, 99 Marble Street in Springfield, Massachusetts. If you can make the trip, it's going to be worth it, because I'm going to read some names. And this isn't everybody that they're going to announce, and it's not everybody that they have announced. It's just the ones that I can remember. Headliners, Mick Foley and JBL. Ken Patera, Jacqueline, Muhammad Hassan, that's a rare one. Itsuki Yamazaki, if you don't know who she is, watch the Jumping Bomb Angels from the late 80s in the WWF. Steph DeLander, who was in TNA, she's accompanies Mance Warner to the ring a lot, and she was the digital media champion. Isla Dawn, who just came off of WWE TV. The Blue Meanie, Bull Buchanan, Gia Miller from TNA, Kid Cash, from ECW and WWE and TNA, Val Venus, Cherry, who was with Deuce and Domino back in the mid-2000s, and the Sinister Minister James Mitchell from ECW, TNA. He was James Vandenberg in WCW with Wrath and Mortis.
Yes!
That is a huge lineup. And we're doing a table. We're going to be getting the word out about our show. We're hopefully going to have a gift for Mick Foley. I've still got to order it. Either way, we'll give it to him somehow. But even if I have to, I might do expedited shipping if I have to. But that's a huge list. We're going to have a great time. Come by and say hi if you do go. I advise you to. I think you should go. That's arrogant of me to say, but if you're a wrestling fan and you can go, that's a huge lineup for me.
Very fucking
that's
huge.
Cool. Just a chance to meet Muhammad Hassan, I think that's badass.
Fuck yeah.
To get him in my encyclopedia, a rare autograph by somebody like him. I think it's cool that Bull Buchanan and Ken Patera are going to be there.
Right.
Those are names I don't hear very often coming to conventions, so I think that's really cool. And Kid Cash, I popped real hard when I saw that being announced. So I think that's going to be really cool. Come by the table, say hi if you watch the show. Before we go, I've mentioned her a couple of times, a girl named Zoe, who goes by Anna J Fan online. We talked about how she lives in Australia. She watches our show. She's a huge wrestling fan, and she was waiting a lung transplant because she has cystic fibrosis. Well, today, actually, she was scheduled to get the lung transplant. So I wanted to give a shout out to her. She's not going to be online for a while because, she's got to recover. She's getting a fucking transplant. But as soon as I hear from her, I'm going to, hopefully she'll see this. She does watch the show. People might not care, but she's a huge wrestling fan, and she watches the show, and she's somebody that she's been in the hospital for a couple of months waiting this lung transplant. I just wanted to give her a shout out. I hope it makes her feel good. That's a major surgery, and it's not going to alleviate every problem that she has, but it's going to be something really good for her. So, Zoe, get better soon. Thanks for watching the show. We really appreciate anybody that watches the show.
Yes, and please give this man more shit about Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, she loves to give me shit because she knows I hate Charlotte Flair, so she gives me shit whenever Charlotte Flair does something, so it's kind of funny. So, get well soon, Zoe. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show. If you've stuck with us this far, we've been going for an hour and a half, so...
I think this is the longest that we have ever gone.
It might be the longest one we've done, and we hope you enjoyed it. Comment, subscribe, let us know what you think. Some people do, most of them are regular watchers, but we like to know what's going on. At Cheap Hop Show on social media, cheaphops.redbubble.com for merchandise.
Merchandising.
The Spaceballs line always gets me.
I'll stop doing it with it.
Don't stop doing it. It's fun. We'll be reviewing the TNA pay-per-views or events when I can get them to him. We'll talk more AEW because there is stuff going on in AEW, and anything that develops on WWE we'll talk about. I'm sure Backlash is only a couple weeks away.
Yeah.
With that. So we'll talk about that because we can't get together every week. I can't stand him every week. That's the main reason. But no, I'm just,
sure you can.
Just messing. So I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about. Like I said, thanks. Follow our social media and watch all the old episodes too. I think this is episode 50 actually. So
yes, number 50.
Yeah. So props to us on episode 50. So. Thank you very much for watching the show. I keep saying it. I keep repeating myself. Why don't we just let you take us out because I'm just rambling.
You are a fucking rambling man. Pop guys out, brother.